Have you stocked up your pantry with one ingredient items? Hello everybody, this is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today is beautiful in West Virginia. Earlier it was pretty windy out here when we took a walk with the dogs, but right now it's calm and beautiful. I'm amazed how quickly it gets dark at night. One of the many reasons I love living in West Virginia is the 4 distinct seasons, and we are moving into fall. Look at that moon. Today, I'm going to give you 4 reasons why you may want to consider vacuum sealing one ingredient foods. And in case no one has told you this lately, you're doing a great job. I had to stop watching the news. And to be honest, I need to stop watching some social media. What happens is I get so tense. I start stressing out, I start getting worried, and I start wondering what is going to happen to our country. But then the weekend comes, and it's a breath of fresh air that I needed. Jim and I worked hard this weekend. We are almost finished with our greenhouse. I'll put a few pictures up. But hard work seems to make everything just kind of melt away. You can only do what you can do. And sometimes I think I push myself so hard. I teach school every day and I come home and I'm like, okay, I gotta work. I gotta get more things in my pantry. I gotta plant another garden. I gotta. And honestly, sometimes you need to slow down. So Jim and I worked hard on that greenhouse. And then we said, you know what? Let's go get a burger and fries. And that's what we did at the local restaurant. And we talked and we laughed, and we got our priorities back in order. All right, let's go back into the pantry and learn how to stock up some food by vacuum sealing. If you are brand new to our channel, I just want to say welcome. My name is Deb, and I love to vacuum seal. I love to preserve food, but vacuum sealing by far is my favorite. And I think that's because anybody can vacuum seal. It is so very easy. Before I even get started on today's video, I just want to let out a huge thank you. My goodness, people, you are spreading the word. I'm getting about 200 subscribers a day, and when I started this channel about 1.5 years ago, I never had a vision that it would grow to 15,000 subscribers in such a short time. So thank you so very much. So what exactly is a one ingredient food? You may be more familiar with the term Whole Foods. Now, I am not talking about the Whole Foods grocery stores. Those are well known for selling expensive items that are organic or healthy. No, I'm talking about vacuum sealing jars that have just one item in it. For example, what I have here is quick oats, popcorn, dry milk, rice, and down below I have beans, corn, flour, coffee, and sugar. Every one of these jars has just one item that is in it. Now you might say, well, my macaroni is just one item. I have just elbow macaroni stored in this jar. But the difference is macaroni, pastas, any of those are made up of many different ingredients, from flours to baking powders, baking sodas, salt. It is not a whole food. So today we're going to talk about 4 reasons why you want to vacuum seal those items. And not only that, but I'm going to show you step by step how to vacuum seal. The number 1 reason to stock up on whole ingredients is to avoid bioengineered foods. I've done many videos on what bioengineered food ingredients actually means. For one, we are looking at a pancake mix and there are over 22 ingredients. This is my old Betty Crocker cookbook. It's had a hard life, but if I turn to this page where it talks about pancakes, what you're going to see is a big difference. It shows 7 ingredients, and to be honest, I don't even put that many in mine. A few years ago, I found an app that I fell in love with called Yucca. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because I want this to be more on preserving foods. But I will say with the Yucca app, all I need to do is take something like this Jiffy baking mix and scan the barcode, and it tells me exactly what's in it. It rates it from 0 to 100, and it also explains what those preservatives and additives mean. So let me show you real quick what is in Jiffy all-purpose baking mix. And that is the very reason why I choose to make my own from scratch pancakes. Number 2, it's more versatile to vacuum seal whole ingredients. With this jar of organic flour, I can not only make pancakes, waffles, biscuits, I can make cakes and cupcakes, muffins and brownies, I can make breads. It's an endless amount of things that I can make homemade just by having flour on hand. Number 3, it's cheaper. Groceries are getting more and more expensive every single day that I go to the grocery store. But did you know that you can make food from scratch for less than it is to buy convenience foods? Convenience foods are just that. They are convenient. They are not less expensive. In fact, this little cookie mix, although you had to purchase the kit itself, you still have to add butter and eggs. And then it only makes 18 to 24 cookies. It is not cheaper. It is convenient. And number 4, you can adapt what you're making easily. This is how I adapt our pancakes. Instead of 1 egg, I use 2. I don't measure the flour. I just dump it in until it looks right. Oh, milk, I keep the same. Nope, we don't use shortening. I use melted butter. Skip the sugar, but instead sprinkle in cinnamon. Baking powder I keep. And the last thing, salt. Nope, we don't put that in there, but I may add some blueberries. All right, there's your 4 solid reasons on why you should be vacuum sealing whole ingredients. But right now, let's learn how to vacuum seal. I am asked over and over again, can you vacuum seal sugar? Won't it get hard? Won't it be ruined? How long will it last? Let's talk all about sugar. I vacuum sealed this jar of sugar several years ago. What I want you to notice, first off, there's a cupcake liner in there. But if I tilt this, look, that sugar is not hard. It's not hard at all. It is still completely granulated. Did you know that vacuum sealing is not what makes your sugar hard? What makes your sugar hard is moisture. And if you live in a very humid climate, which we do in the summer, then your sugar is going to start clumping together. The process of vacuum sealing has nothing to do with moisture. Instead, it is all about removing air. So no, your sugar is not going to get hard unless there's moisture in that jar. So the very first thing I always recommend is wash your jars with hot soapy water the day before you vacuum seal. You don't want any moisture in that jar. I prefer to use half-gallon canning jars. These are by Ball. I've purchased most of mine at Walmart only because when I go thrift shopping, I don't seem to find the half-gallon jars. Most people, they're hanging on to these. But the good news is this time of year is an excellent time to buy your canning jars. I continue to find them on sale. The first thing we're going to do is fill up that jar with your sugar. And what I like to use is one of those wide mouth funnels so that I don't get sugar all over everything. Once I have filled my jar, what I'm going to do is remove that funnel and I'm going to start shaking this around and thumping it on my countertop. And I actually had a subscriber say, oh my gosh, Deb, you're going to break that jar. Oh, no, I'm not. I have never broken one of my jars by making sure I leveled it down a little bit, but I am going to get this sugar to go down a little further so I can add more. My aim is to get it just below that low ridge. Add some more sugar to that bottom line. This is 4 pounds of organic cane sugar, and most of it did in fact fit into my jar. Next step is very important. You're going to want to add a cupcake liner to the top of that jar. And as you can see, it fits perfectly. You don't want it over the top of the jar. You just want it resting on the sugar. These are all natural paper cupcake liners. I ordered them online. A lot of people say, but why do you need to add that? What it does is provide a barrier. If you don't have a barrier at the top of your powdery items, you're actually going to suck some of your product into your vacuum sealer. So anytime I'm vacuum sealing flour, powdered sugar, anything light and airy, I make sure I put that liner in between. And it does not need to be a cupcake liner. It can be anything. At first, I was using paper towels. You can crinkle them up and put them on top. You can use tissues, coffee filters, anything that's going to provide a barrier between your food and your vacuum sealer. Next, you want to wipe the rim with your clean hand. Yes, my hand is clean. I did not have it up my nose or in my back pocket. Again, subscribers, oh mercy, they accuse me of the strangest things. Now, I am a teacher and I'm a major germaphobe. So if you really are concerned about germs, even though it's a clean jar, a clean hand, and clean everything, you can use a paper towel dipped in white vinegar and go along the rim if you want. Next, I place the flat right on top in the center. Sometimes I've had it a little bit to the side where it would still seal, but there was a huge hanging over on the side. So I try real hard to get it into the center. As far as lids or flats, you may reuse these lids for vacuum sealing. I know with canning, you can only use it one time. Vacuum sealing, as long as it seals, it is good. Next, I'm going to add the adapter that's going to go from the top of my lid to the port into my vacuum sealer. If you buy them directly from the company, this is called Food Saver Jar Sealer. I call it an adapter because it's not going to seal it. It's just a piece that you use in between the vacuum sealer and the jar. As far as vacuum sealers, this is by far my absolute favorite. This is Food Saver FM 5200 series. No matter what vacuum sealer you use, make sure it has a port to plug into the adapters. This goes right into the top of your jar. Plug it on in, make sure it's in there good. Then I'm going to turn on the power and hit accessory. You may have heard that click. And just take all the pieces off. You're going to want to check to make sure it's sealed. And the easiest way is to use your fingertips. And I turn it around and I try to pull that lid off. The other thing you're going to look for is that the top of the lid is indented or it's been sucked down. And that's exactly what it is. So this jar is sealed. So, how long can you store sugar? I have heard that you can store your sugar indefinitely as long as you remove the moisture. So if your sugar is vacuum sealed in a jar that the moisture can't get into, then this sugar should last for at least a decade or more. According to this bag, it is good until August 23rd, 2027. But that is the best buy date. That's not an expiration day. That's a date for them to know how long they can sell it. For me, I add a standard 5 years to the best buy date on the package. So this one says organic sugar, best buy August 23rd, 2032. And yes, it may last longer than that, but the reality is I'm going to be using that sugar before that time because I rotate my stock. Another point that people keep arguing with me on my channel is that I tell everybody to store it with the rings on. Now, I am not talking about canned items. Canned foods you store without the ring, but vacuum sealed you definitely store with a ring. Let's talk about it. All vacuum sealers are different. Some of them, such as my Food Saver, are for long-term storage. That simply means that it has enough power to suck out the air and keep that jar sealed for long term. But in recent years, more and more people have been buying the electric mason jar vacuum sealer, and this one simply is not as powerful. And trust me, I understand. This one is about $20, where this one is going on $200. A lot of people have told me that it works excellent. I used it, it sealed immediately, and it is still sealed. Well, truly, I am happy for you, but I want to show you something. This is a jar that says organic powdered sugar, Best Buy 2027. I vacuum sealed this with my mason jar about 6 months ago. And as I was just checking my stock, I noticed the center, you probably can't see it, the center is no longer inverted. It is sticking up. And all I have to do is push on it and see if it makes a noise. So let's see. That jar is not sealed. If I was to open this jar up, let's see if I can do it one-handed. There we go. I guarantee that I'm going to be able to lift that lid right off. Let's see. Oh my goodness. It's not sealed at all. In fact, you can tell this is one of my older ones because that's paper towel. Remember how I said I used to use paper towels? All right, what happened here is I used the mason jar sealer. It did not stay sealed. Let me wipe it. We're going to do it again. I'm going to use my good sealer. Let's put it all together. All right, let me reseal this jar real quick. It is definitely sealed. That is not coming off there with my fingertips, but I can also see it's sunk down in there again. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this ring back on that jar. All right, let's talk about what just happened. This sealer was strong enough to originally seal my jar, but it wasn't strong enough to hold it. Because I had the ring on there, it kept the lid on top. If I had not had that ring on there and this lid had popped, what would happen is you could allow insects to get in there. It could be knocked over. A mouse could get in there. I also had someone that had a tornado touch down in their area, and it changed the air pressure. And she told me any of her jars that didn't have the ring on them, the lids went flying off because the air pressure changed in her pantry. So it's not keeping the seal as in, okay, it's vacuum sealed. No, it's keeping the lid on when it's not vacuum sealed. Whew, that was a lot of information. Now, what you want to do is almost as important as vacuum sealing it, and that is how do you store your dried items. This is my pantry, and if I shut off the lights, it is pitch black in here. There is no lighting. So during the day and the night, it is in complete darkness, and it's also a cool location. You're going to want to find a place that is dark and cool. In fact, the warmer the room, the less the storage time. So you're not going to get 10 years out of your sugar if your room is in the 90s. I am immensely blessed to have a temperature-controlled pantry. I did not have one of these for the first 30 years that I was canning and vacuum sealing. Our first house was only 800 square feet. It was 20 by 40, and that was it. I had no storage. I had no pantry. What I needed to do at that point was to put them in the boxes that the canning jars came in and slip them under my bed. So trust me, if you don't have the best location in the world, at least you have some place that you can put it. So put them in closets, put it under the bed. Don't put it in the laundry room because they tend to get pretty warm. But look throughout your house, you'll probably find some places you never even expected. And I just want to encourage you, what you see up here, that is cereal. I have a lot of cereal stored. Not everything that I vacuum seal is whole foods. I wish it was. I wish I had more rice and beans. but I have pasta and cereal. I even have jelly beans. So what you do is take baby steps, and maybe your first thing you want to start making is pancakes. That was one of the first things I started on my own. And what you realize is it's not only easy, cheaper, but it tastes better. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.